Welcome to the Basilica of St. Carlos Borromeo del Rio Carmelo.
The grounds are very beautiful and the church lies at one end of the courtyard. The church was completed and dedicated in 1797. The sandstone for it was dug out by Indian laborers.
They still hold religious services on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
1793 construction of this church began. It was built of sandstone. The tower is a Moorish design that holds 9 full bells. The walls were covered by a lime plaster made from burnt seashells. It took 4 years to build. During that same time, the mission reached its height of success. In 1794, the Indian population reached 927 and the crops were abundant. But by the year 1832, the Indian population had fallen to 381. The Indians had no immunity to European diseases, which caused many deaths. Throughout the church are buried over 200 Indians and Spaniards. In 1834, the mission was secularized. The mission lands were taken by Hispanic settlers, and the Indians left. Gradually, the church fell into ruin.
This is where Father Junipero Serra was buried. This cemetery holds the graves of the Indians and Spaniards who were buried here between 1771 and 1833.
This is your typical Padre's bedroom as it would have looked in 1810. This is a recreation of a kitchen as it would have looked in a mission of the time. In the corner there was a brick oven that was used for cooking casseroles and bread. In the other corner was a vessel used to filter water. Water seeped slowly through the stone and clean water was collected below. On the floor you can see the metates used for grinding corn. This room is the grand sala or formal reception room. Many furnishings in the terracotta flooring are original to this mission. The Carmel mission has a large collection of liturgical vestments. These are worn by priests during Mass. The color of this clothing depended on what season it was. For example, green is used during Advent and Lent, while white is used during Christmas and Easter. Some were produced in Mexico and some were produced in Europe. The vestments on display are thought to be from the 18th to 20th century. This painting shows Father Junipero Serra's first Mass under a large oak on the Monterey shore. This is actually the same place Europeans first set foot in California in 1602, a full 18 years before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock. The oak tree survived until 1904. This log is an actual piece of that tree, and it is kept at the mission today. Here is the Serra Memorial Cenotaph. This is not a tomb. It is a monument made of marble and bronze showing Father Serra and 3 other pioneer missionaries, all of whom were buried under the church sanctuary. As you look up, you can see the beautiful detail on the ceiling of the room. After the start of the Revolution of 1810 in Mexico, Catholic religious items were hard to obtain, so to celebrate the beatification of Benedict of Palermo, the Padres had one of the Indian neophytes carve a statue for the altarpiece. In 1834, the Mexican government closed the missions and took the mission lands. Even though they said the mission lands would go to the Indians, most of the Indians did not get any. Instead, the land was sold to new settlers coming to California. Once the Indians and Padres were gone, no one was left to ward off the vandals and decay. Luckily for generations of tourists and 4th graders like myself, restoration of the mission began in 1884 and continues to today.